Good afternoon, my dear students. I hope that you can hear me and you can see the screen. So if it is true, please write something in the comment section. Okay, so can you hear me? Can you see the screen? Yes, very good. Thank you very much. So today we have a lot of things to speak about. Today we will mainly take a new topic, which is about the pivot tables, and it is also about the array formulas. So we will have a lot of new information, but as for me, this information is very interesting and very helpful for our everyday tasks and of course for our professional tasks. Okay, so let us start. And we will start with the pivot tables. So, what are the pivot tables? This question is pretty simple. Pivot tables do allow us to represent the data in more compact view, actually. So let us start with a new table. We'll have it as lecture 5/1. Make it a little bit bigger. And we will create a table which has date. Then we have product. Then order amount. Then client ID. And manager. So this would be enough for us. Let's make it blue. And actually we will create a lot of, or we will generate a lot of data for this table, because this would be the case when we are going to use the pivot tables. Okay, so we will create and we will fill in this table in the way when every order is going to take a separate row, and we will have a lot of orders actually. So let's generate a couple of dates. So we will use it, or we will create them using the function which is called rand between, and we will see the dates between the 1st of January 2020 by the 1st of January 2023. So let us create a load of data. So we will create, I suppose, somehow or something like 400 entries. Yeah, this would be very good. And to see the dates, we just choose the short date possibility, so command C, command V, and past values only. And let's sort and filter them. Sort oldest to newest. Continue with the current selection so that we have everything sorted. Sorted, neat and beautiful. Okay, now we will have 3 types of the goods. So let us have the first type, which is called product A, product B, and product C. And of course, we will pass them in random order as well. So how to create this random order if we need some. This is not going to be very difficult. So we will do something like this. We just need to use match. To have index from the array, which is going to be fixed, of course. And the raw number is going to be rand between 1 and 3, like this. So now we will be able to fill them in the random order. So values only. Then the order amount. Let us say that we are going to have several opportunities to increase the quantity of the products. So let us say that we have $66,000 for the product A. Then we have, or maybe not 60. Let's have $150. This would be enough. Product B is going to be 325 and product C is going to be 600, or maybe it's going to be 599. Yeah, standard, classic. And we will use vertical lookup function. Oh, not vertical lookup. We are going to use, vertical lookup, VLOOKUP. We just use like this. Then table array is going to be this. Then don't forget to fix it. Then column index number is going to be 2, and we're going to have 0. And we will multiply this value by random between 1 and, I suppose, 5. This would be enough. So it's going to be like this. And don't forget to keep the values only. So now we do not need it. Then the client ID. Client ID is just going to be 1 to the end, and we just fill series. And the manager is going to be one of the, I suppose, 5 managers. Let's have manager Lopez, Cruz, then Branson, Powder, and finally I don't know, Ivanov. Why not? And the managers are going to be assigned randomly as well. Index, array, do not forget to fix it. Very good. Then row number is going to be random between 1 and 5. Like this. Command C, Command V, and values only. So now we have a lot of values, so you can see that we have 400 customers with different prices and so on and so forth, with different order amounts. So this is the table that we are going to work with. And actually, when we have such big tables, we may have a lot of mistakes working with them. Because, well, some tasks are going to be very difficult to carry out due to the size of the table. So how to work with these tables? Well, first of all, let us say that we have a task. We want to see how much each manager earned for our company. So this is the question. What can we do? Actually, there are some solutions that you can come up with. And the first one is to actually filter all the data. So we go to sort and filter. We just set the filter and we want to have the crews. We have all the order amounts for the crews. And what we can do, we can just go equal sum, and we can count everything. And we get the final sum of the crews. But is it the final sum for the crews or not? So this is the question. Because let us delete it and let us actually, so you remember this sum, let us just copy its value somewhere over here. Just want the values only. We delete it. And let's delete the filter. Sort and filter, clear. Let's go to the bottom of the table and let us see the sum of all the orders. And the sum is going to be 432,000. If we go up, you see that our sum is a little bit less, which is, well, impossible, because to have such kind of sum, we need a lot of orders made by or carried out by cruise manager or manager cruise. So this is the case. We are going to have a mistake, and this is the problem. So how to overgo this type of mistake and how to make yourself safe. This is the situation where we're going to use the pivot tables. So, how to create a pivot table? We just need to, first of all, have a good table created. So let's delete the filter. So what does it mean to have a good table? It means that we need to have a table with the header and of course with each item held separately. So product B, product A. So every order is separate, in separate cell. This is the good table. And the type of each data should be the same. For example, here you're going to have the dates only. In this column, you're going to have the products only. Here you're going to have order amounts only, and so on and so forth. So when we are on this table, we just can click anywhere. And then we just go to the Insert tab and click the button which is called Pivot Table. So let us do this. So you see that all the table is now checked for the Pivot Table Manager. We can use an external data source, by the way, but in our case we already have a table. And we can create a new worksheet or put it on the existing worksheet. So we will keep the new worksheet feature. Press OK. And now we have a new area where we will be able to build the pivot table. So you can see we have the sheet 2. Let's move it here. Lecture 5.2. So this is the main window or the main template for the pivot table. And everything that we need to create or everything that we need to learn is how to put these field names to these areas below. We have 4 areas: filters, columns, rows, and values. And this is all that we need to know. So we have different rows of fields, names, and these areas. And actually, these areas correspond to the things that we're going to see in our pivot table. So how to solve our task that we had before? How to see how much money every manager did earn. So, nothing difficult. We just go with order amount and drag and drop it to values. So you see we have the general order amount, the same as before, as you have already mentioned. This is absolutely the same amount that we counted with help of the sum function for all of the managers. And then what we do to see order amounts for every manager, we just take manager and set it to rows. And that's it. We have order amount sums for every manager. So this is it. This is how we work with the pivot tables. It is actually not difficult. Everything you just need to know is how to insert a data like a pivot table. So insert pivot table. That's it. So this is it. The basic table that we have now. Nothing difficult. What can we do as well? We can just change the manager to the columns and we will have everything in columns. But as for me, this does not look very good, so I will keep it in rows. Okay, what about the data type? So you see that we have sum of order amount, and this is not very beautiful. We may have it look like this by just selecting it and putting this data type. But what if we just add something like the date? You see that all the data types are going to be changed as well. So how to do this? So let's delete this data type. And in order to change the data type of the cell, you just can see that we can have something like this, field settings, and show data as, oh, not this one, this. So where are they? Value field settings, number, yep, and we can have currency. Symbol is going to be none, or maybe dollars. Okay, okay, and that's it. So the same we can do here, field settings, and we go to number. So that's it. Okay. What else do we have in our pivot table? We have a date field, and we can insert it to rows as well. And you see that it is already divided by quarters, and by managers, and by years as well. But actually, what is interesting is that we may not have such kind of detailization. So the basic look is going to look like this. Because here we have everything made automatically, but we are not going to have such possibility sometimes. Sometimes Excel does not make it automatically. So how to specify this data? So the idea is that we just go to the first item of this field. Then we have additional tabs like pivot table and analyze, design. So we go to pivot table analyze, and we have group selection feature. You can group selection, start an ad, end an ad, and we can group them by months, quarters, and years. So let's go with years, and let me see. We can go with years and months. Press OK. And now we have all the managers and all the values specified by years and months. So nothing difficult. So everything you just need to do is just go to pivot table analysis or pivot table analyze and go to group selection and select the possibilities of the grouping of the values. Okay. Do you have any questions about the basics of the pivot tables? Okay, that's great. Let's go on. So now we will speak about the conditional formatting. Or just formatting the pivot table and the possibilities of formatting. So we have a pivot table now. You remember that this pivot table is based on this one. And what if we want to make a detailization based on the product? How can we do this easily? So we can add them to the rows, and we will have nothing actually, because we just need to go to the months. This would be very difficult. We can go to the columns, product A, B, C, and grand total. Or we can put them into filters. So here is the difference. So what can we do? If we put the product to columns, we are going to have beautiful table with all the needed data. And in this way, we will be able to read all the information easily. Yep, but what if we do not want to have all the information, but we want to represent the information on one particular type of product only? In this way, we will just put the product to filters area, and now we have a filter up here where we can select the product type. We can select all, we can deselect all, and we can choose just the products that we need to show here. Product C, product B, product A, or product A and product C. And that's it. So this is how we work with the filter. But if we don't want to have the filtering feature, we just deselect it, and that's all. So everything is going to be as it was before. As for me, one of the most beautiful options that we can do here is selecting them here. You see we have a filter there. Let's have it right there. By the way, we can filter all the values. There we can filter everything in the columns and in the rows, in the headings. So everything is very well variable and adaptive in the pivot tables. Okay, what if we put the product, or we put the manager by the product? We can do it like this, or we can just go and do it like this. We can make it a little bit higher. So this is it. We're going to have all the types of the products for all the managers and all the totals for each of the manager. So in this way, we are going to have the two-level headings. So that's actually not very beautiful for me, but sometimes we need these tables. So let's just delete the manager and let's put the manager right here. Manager, then year, then the months. Okay, we also have a tab which is called Design. What is the Design tab? Well, Design tab is a useful tab which allows us to modify our pivot tables and make the presentation feature a little bit different. So what can we do? We can draw or just recolor the pivot table. Let's move it back to this one, or like this one is beautiful, pretty beautiful. We can also add some features up here when we have subtotals, grand totals, report layout, and blank rows. So what about the subtotals? So you can see that we do not have we have the subtotals, but we can deselect them so that not to show them at all. We can show all subtotals at the bottom, or we can show all subtotals at the top of the group, which is pretty handy. What about the grand totals? We can turn them off for all the columns and the rows. We can turn them on. We can turn them on for rows only and for columns only. So that's it. Then let's turn them on for rows and columns. What about the report layout? We can show in the report in compact form, which is already represented here. We can show it in outline form, like this, or in tabular form, like this. we can repeat all item labels and do not repeat them. So as for me, the compact form is enough. And what about the blank rows? We can insert the blank line after each item or remove it. So if you want to change the representation of your table, you can do it easily, as well as including row headers, column headers, banded rows, banded columns. So nothing difficult, as for me. Okay, that's it for the representation of the pivot table. And going next. So, can you hear me? Is everything okay? Okay, cool. I hope that you can hear me well. Yes, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, one more task. What if we want... I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go on with the task. So what if we do not only want to know the sum of the order amount, but we also want to see the quantity of the orders for each of the years for each of the manager. How to do this? Of course, we have the sum of the order amount already in the values, but we also can drag our order amount one more time, and we have sum of order amount too, and we will go to the field settings, and you see that we can have count, average, max, min, etc. And we will choose count. And we will just choose the quantity. Press OK, and we have the quantity of the orders. That's it. Nothing difficult. Do you have any questions about these basic features? Okay, I see. Let's go on working with this table. We'll just delete the quantity. And what else do we want to have? We have the absolute numbers. But what if we want to see the relative numbers that are related to the others in percentage? So how to do this? So we want to see how much each manager made in relation to the others. So we will do absolutely the same action. We just turn and drag the order amount to this table, go to field settings, but we do not summarize it by, but show data as percentage of, and we show the percentage of order amount. Or we just can use the percentage of raw total. Press OK, and now we can see that we have the percentages for all the data. Nothing difficult. And now we have a new task. Our management decided to pay the bonuses depending on a very simple formula. So the bonus is going to be paid each month depending on the sum or on the order sum, something like this. So what do we need to know? What do we have here? So let's see. We have pivot table analysis tab. And we actually need to insert a new field. We have fields, items, and sets, and we need to insert a calculated field. So it would be the bonus, and the formula is going to be the following. Order amount multiplied by 1%. So this would be enough. Press OK, and we have the bonuses for all the managers that we have in the company. Of course, we can change. We have sum of bonus. We can choose the field settings, bonus, number, and of course we're going to have currency and none. Press OK. Bonus amount. Press OK. Yeah, that would be enough. So now we have all the bonuses for our employees. And finally, we will, when speaking about the pivot tables, we need to know one of the most or easiest features of the pivot table, but it is one of the most handy features as well. So this feature was, how to say it right? So this feature was first implemented into Excel 2013, and it is called the slicer. So we go to pivot table analyze, insert slicer, and we choose the items or the field names that we want to add the slicer for. And let's choose the manager, product, years. Press OK, and now we have 3 slicers. So let's have manager, product, and years. So what can we do now? Now we can just choose the Branson, product A, and years. So this type of feature, which is called slicer, allows us to create some kind of interactive dashboard which allows us to work easily with the pivot table. Of course, it is very handy, especially for the people that will be using or that will use your table in the future and that do not know the basics of your pivot table. So this is one of the greatest features that we have in Excel. Let's return everything. Let's delete the slices. Remove manager, remove product, and remove years. And one additional feature that goes perfectly with the pivot tables is the charts actually. So what can we do with the charts? We just go to pivot table analyze. We have pivot chart. And now we have all the information included into one chart. And we can actually change it. For example, we can select all the months. We can select just one manager. And chart will update automatically. So this is a very handy feature as well. Okay, do you have any questions about the pivot tables? I see. Very good. Okay, let's go on to the other subject for today's lecture. Lecture 5.3. What other tool do we have in Excel? This tool is an advanced one. It is called the array formulas. And this tool actually can help us differentiate an amateur Excel user from the professional Excel user. And if you actually get hand of the array formulas, you will be able to solve more complex tasks much more effective way. So what is the array? Array is just range of data or range of values. And now we can say that the array formula is just a formula that can take several values as an input values, and it can produce several values as the output values. So let's create the first table. As an example, this would be the multiplication table. So 2, 3, and up to 9. And the same goes here. And up to 9. Of course, we can create the multiplication table just by fixing the columns and rows. And if I'm not mistaken, I have already shown you how to do this. So what we can do, we just can multiply these by the column header. But when we go to the right or when we go down, we are going to have just so big values that we are going to have mistakes probably. What is the problem? Actually, you can see that when we go to the right, we do not want this column to change at all. And when we go down, we do not want this row to change. That's why we need to fix them. When we choose A2, we are going to fix the column. So how to do this? We just fix the column letter. And then we multiply by B, and we want to fix the row. That means that we need to fix the row number. We press enter, we go to the right, and then we go down, and we have everything created for our multiplication table. So nothing difficult, but we can make it even easier. So how to do this? In order to use the array formula, we need to select everything. Then we press equal sign and we select the whole column and multiply it by the upper row. But what you need to know about the array formulas is that they work only with the combination of keys that are needed to be pressed. So in order to make the array formula work, you need to press Ctrl Shift Enter. So now I will just press Ctrl Shift Enter and I will have all the multiplication table here. And pay attention to the formula. Now it has the curly brackets or the figure brackets on the right and on the left of the formula. And this is the feature that specifies that this formula is the array formula. What is great about the array formulas is that you can just go anywhere there and you can change it. For example, you can add 10, then press Ctrl Shift Enter, and you will change all the values by 10 in the array formula. So this is it. This is very easy, and this is the simplest option of the array formulas. Nothing difficult, I hope so. Let's create a new table. Now we will work with the array formulas with the functions. So we will have a new table which is going to have the name, position, then we got, well, I suppose that we will take it somewhere here. Hours of work, experience, yeah, and bonus. Let's take it here and let's move right here. Hours of work, experience, bonus. So what do we have here? We need, oh, we'll not have the bonus, we just have hours of work. No. Let's choose this table. This table is going to be much better for us. Salary, but we will just use the hours worked and base salary. have directories. Okay, so this would be enough, I suppose. Manager is going to be 500. Then the intern is going to be 100. Security is going to be 100 and a half, and driver is going to be 300. So that's it. We have hours worked. It's going to be run between 100 and 160. Let's have 70, 80. Values only. Okay, that's enough. So what do we want to have? We need to count the sum of the salaries of all the employees. So what can we do? What can we do to have this? First of all, we can create a column which is going to be equal total salary, and it's going to be base salary multiplied by hours worked. We'll go down, and then we just have the sum like this. But this is going to be a little bit complex, actually. So what can we do to make it easier? Let's create a new cell which is called total salary amount, and here we will use the array formula. To do that, we'll go with sum hours worked multiplied by base salary, like this. So now we have the total salary. And what if we have the bonus section as well? Let's insert column, going to be bonus. Where did we have it? Oh, like this. And now for the total salary amount, we also need to add the bonus section. And how to do this? We just add the bonus section here. Control-Shift-Enter, and we have all the salaries and bonuses as well. So this is it. Nothing difficult. Okay. What else do you need to know? When we have the formulas tab opened, you can see that we have kind of error checking the formula, and you can also show the formulas. But what is more interesting is that we can see, or we can calculate, where is it? Oh, I don't have it here. Okay. Okay. So next, what can we do as well? We can make the array formulas easier. The task of array formulas easier when we're using the named arrays or named ranges. So let's create a named range which is houseworked, define name, houseworked, then base salary, and bonus. Let's say bonus 1. And now we can make it like this. Instead of this range, we just go to hours worked, then base salary, and bonus 1. Press enter, and that's it. So named ranges are going to help us with the array formulas as well. One more task that we can solve using the array formulas is the task of transposing values. Let's create a table with the date and let's have the months and the order amount. Go to January, February, and so on and so forth, up to December. And we're going to insert the random between 100,000 and 500. That's it. So now we would like to transpose this table. So how can we do this? Actually, we can just select all the table, press Command C or Control C, go there, right click, past special, and transpose. And it's going to look like this. But we're going to have a problem, because when we change the value up here, for example, we want to go to 100,000, it is not going to change in this field or in this table at all. So this is not going to work for more complex tasks. So how to deal with this with help of array formulas? What we do is we just select the number of cells that we need for our task. So in this case, we need 12 cells plus 1 more, like 24 plus 2 more, 26 cells, 2 rows, and 13 cells. So we go to like this, press equal, and we will use the formula which is called transpose. Transpose array. And we just click Control Shift Enter. Yeah, now we have go there, go transpose, and go with array. That's it. So now we can press Command B, something like this. We can format it, and now if we change some data in this formula, we will be able to see the changes in this table as well. So that's it. But what if we do not select the needed number of cells and just choose the first cell only? Let's see, transpose, select everything, Control Shift Enter, and we have months only. And when we go there, we will have the first row which is not transposed, and the second row may be not transposed as well. So we will have kind of mistakes. So you can see this on the screen. So let's delete this. Do not forget to select the certain amount of cells that you're going to use. Okay, do you have any questions about the array formulas right now? No questions. Okay. So let's go on to, well, to the advanced usage of the array formulas. Let's create a new table. So now we will speak about the array formulas used with the functions. Let's create a new table which is called name, which has headers like name, sex, and base salary. Like this. Maybe we have some ideas previously. Yeah. Do it something like this, and the base salary is going to be random, because why not? Random between 50,000 and 200,000. Or maybe we will just go with multiply by 1,000. Values only. No, too much. Yeah, like this. So now we have different employees with different salaries, with different sex. So what do we want to have right now, or what do we want to count? We want to count the total, the grand total of the base salaries of the women. How to do this? Of course, you remember that we have the feature or the function which is called SUMIF. But let's try to solve this task using the array formulas. We can add a new column which is called if, and we will see that to sum everything we just need to see whether this is female or male. If it is male, if it equals to male, we're going to set the salary to 0, and if it's true, we're going to choose the base salary. So this way we will be able to find the base salaries of the women only. And this is absolutely the same way that we're going to use in the array formulas. So let's have the sum here. And now we'll choose grand total female. And we will go with if the whole range equals to male, If it is true, we are going to select nothing. And if it is false, we are going to choose the base salary. And we need to sum everything. That is why we go to sum if. And that's it. Control Shift Enter, and we have the same amount. So that's it. Of course, the question may be, why do we need to, and by the way, we can delete it now. And the question is, why do we need to use the array formula when we can use the sum if? So the answer is pretty simple. You see, we have sum if, but we actually do not have something like minimum if or some functions of a kind. What if we want to find the minimum base salary of the female employee? I'm going to hold mean minimum female, and now we are not, of course we have mean ifs, but it is not going to do this as we wish. That is why we go to mean if x equals to female. Just choose the base salary. If it is not, we check the nothing. Control Shift Enter, and the minimum value is 72,000. So that's it. What if we want to have the max of male is, and it's going to be absolutely the same. Max if that equals to male, go to base salary. If it is not, we choose nothing. Control Shift Enter, and that's it. Okay, 1 second. And let's go on. We'll solve one more task, which is actually not very solvable without the array functions. Let's have a new table. We have two columns, product products, or maybe item 1 and item 2. So we'll make them bold. So we have several items. Let's go with A, B, and C. and we go with different numbers like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 5, 6, and 7, 7, 7. Let's just have index like this, when between 1 and 3, and index and don't forget to let's have 30 values of them. Let's copy values only, and we will copy values only as well. So we're probably going to have some values that are absolutely the same, maybe, who knows. And what we need to know, we want to find the duplicate values. So, how can we do this without the array formulas? First of all, we can see that we can use the match formula. Let's use it. Match equals match this value in this column. Okay. Lookup value and lookup array. Now we can see where we have the duplicate values. Oh, we have a lot of them actually, and only one value is not different. That's interesting. Okay, let's try to keep the values only. Match so now we have less duplicates. And what do we have here is that we can see where the duplicates are situated. And what we also need to know, we need the number of the duplicates. That is why we can do the if error function, which will show us the following values. If error zero, oh sorry, 1 when there is no error, and if error is not going to work actually, we need to use another formula, which is going to be is error. So what we're going to use is the following. So I'm sorry, we will finish up a little bit later with the lecture because we have a lot of material. So what we do use, if is error here, so we check up whether there is an error or not. If there is an error, we are going to use 0. If it is there is no error, we choose 1. Press enter, like this. And now we're going to sum all the values here, and we have 25 duplicates. So how to make this solution much faster and much more efficient? So we will go there, number of duplicates, and we will use it with the array formula. Just go with sum if is error, and what we check this formula, match lookup value, lookup array, match type is going to be 0, is error match. If there is an error, we're going to have 0, if not 1. And then we press Ctrl Shift Enter, and we have, oh, 28. Nice. By the way, yep, I made a mistake. We have 28 matches only. 28 duplicates. So this is it. Do not forget, one of the most important points here, I want to pay attention specifically to this point. I also do usually forget about this, but I always have to redo if I do forget. So when we use the match function, do not forget about the match type, and the match type should be 0. So that's it. Okay. One more example. Almost the final one. Lecture 5.8. Let's have this next table, a range. We have number of deals, or deal amount, and number of deals, total deal amount, and average deal amount. So we have several branches. Like 10 of them. We have random number of deals. Total deal amount is going to be this multiplied by random between. Oh, we just go with random between 100,000 and 500,000. Okay, let's this multiplied by random between. Only, and the average deal amount is going to be total deal amount divided by number of deals. Okay, that's it. How to have the average for all the branches. Average, total average. And total average is going to be equal to average of all the average deal amount. And that's it. So this is not very difficult, but sometimes we have mistakes, because we may have number of deals, and we will have, okay, and zeros here, errors in the average deal amount, and we're going to have the average here. And we can count the total average only using the array formula. So how to do this? We will just go with the next formula. Average, then if error here, and value if error is going to be empty. And that's it. Just add the combination, Ctrl Shift Enter, and we're going to have the average. So what this does mean is that we're going to count the average, and if there is an error in the cell, we're not going to count it at all. So that's it. And before we take the final task, do you have any questions beforehand on the material? So any questions about the array formulas by now? No questions. Okay, I see. And the final application of the array formulas. Let's have lecture 5.9. And what is it going to look like? So now we're going to speak about the bilateral and multi-criteria search. So what is the matter? We're going to have a new table which is going to be branch order ID, order amount, then client ID, and delivery Okay, so we have several branches. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have several clients. Client ID is going to be 20 clients. Field series. Then branch is going to be, okay, maybe we have branch like A, B. Then C, D, E, F. G, H. We're going to have index, array, random between 1 and 4. Yep. So this is going to be the branches. The order ID is going to be made up of 3 numbers. So we're going to have friend between 1 and 5, 1 and 4, and random between 2 and 7, and random between 1 and 9. So that's it. So order amount is going to be random between 100,000 and 900,000. Values only. Order ID is going to be with values only, and delivery date is going to be random between the 1st of April and the 1st of May. Values only, and we will sort them. Just this current selection. Okay, so what do we have in the table right now? Our task is to look for the order amount based on the branch and the order ID. So let me see. We're going to have the branch and the order ID. Make them bold, make them blue. Okay, our branch is going to be GH, and the order ID is going to be 145. So what do we have here? In order to find the order amount, we just need to choose or to use order amount right here. We can use the formula which is called match. Oh, not match, index. No, match. Match, we're going to look up for the GH, and then the lookup array is going to be the branch. Match type is going to be 0. And what do we have? We have GH is 1, but GH in 145 is going to be here. That's why the output is very, well, limited. which is bad. That is why we can use the array formulas in order to make our life much easier. So we will create a combined identifier. So combined identifier is going to look like this. It's going to be GH and order ID. And it's going to look like this. So what are we going to use? We're going to use the array formula in the following way. We will just use the index, then match. Index, we're going to have the array of the order amount. Then the raw number is going to be found as match. We are looking for the lookup value, or we can just write GH and order ID here with the ampersand, semicolon, and then lookup array. We're going to select branch column, press ampersand and order ID. And of course the match type is going to be 0. We close everything, and that's it. We press enter. We have 858807, and we have GH 45, and this is it. We found everything using the combined identifier. But what you need to mention, you need to be careful, because if the branch is represented in numbers, for example 1, 2 and 1, 4, 5, and you're going to have like 1, 2, 1, 4, 5, and you may have some problems in your table that your order ID is going to be created by different amount of numbers and so on and so forth. You may have some mistakes, so you need to create the tables carefully. Okay, because sometimes you may have something like this, GH, let's say GH, and your branch is going to be GH, order ID is going to be 145, and your branch is going to be GH1, and order ID is going to be 45. And these values are going to be the same for the identifier. So this is the mistake I'm talking about. That's why I have everything unique here in case of the branches and the order IDs. Okay, let's delete this. And let's go on. Let's try to implement the multi-criteria search. We will just add not only the order amount, but we also need to find the thing that we want to find. We have the branch, we have the order ID, and we want to set up the field. And field may be like client ID, order amount, or delivery date. Let's create it as the data validation. We're going to have the list, and the source is going to be like this. Press OK, and now we can check the source right here. And let's start with the order amount, and we want to make it equal to that. So if it changes, we're going to change it as well. And finally, we want to represent all these values based on the table. So how to do that? Well, if we look at the index formula closely, you can see that we have array, we have row number, and we have column number. So let's choose the whole array of the values that we have there. Then the row number is going to be match. Lookup value is going to be this combined identifier. The lookup array is going to be combined as well. And match type is 0. And then we want to have the area number or column number. And to do that, we also do the match feature. Match. Lookup value is this one. Lookup array is this one. and match type is 0. Control-Shift-Enter. Now we have the order amount. If we want to change it to client ID, we are going to have the client ID as well. So here it is. And what about the delivery date? Let's go to the delivery date. Yep, so it's going to be represented by the date. Yep, that's it. So we have everything correct. And this way, we will be able to use the multi-criteria and bilateral search using the array formulas. So that's it. Please tell me, do you have any questions about the material? No questions? Okay, so that's it for the lecture. Thank you very much for the lecture. And see you in a couple of minutes on the practical class. So that's it for today. Thank you very much and looking forward to the practical class with you. Bye bye.